It's the end of the playoffs, and solid, unmanaged linebackers are super scarce. So, first, we have the Giants' second-year linebacker, Darius Muasau. Muasau's value is all about his potential role this week, but the really key takeaway here is that he officially returned from his ankle injury and delivered immediate production in Week 15 against Washington. Before his injury, his usage was massive when he was on the field. In fact, he was seeing snap counts as high as 90% in some games, and he can deliver massive scores. And in his return against the Commanders in Week 15, he put up a great game. He recorded 5 solo tackles and 6 assists for 11 combined tackles, and that also came with 80% of the defensive snaps, which also means they didn't bother to ease him back in and 100% ready to go. And next, he gets the Vikings in Week 16. That is an excellent matchup that generates high tackle volume for opposing linebackers. Specifically, the Vikings have ranked as a top 10 matchup for linebackers in both scoring formats over the last month. So Muasau is a high-upside LB2 gamble this week. If he gets the full snap share, he could easily deliver an LB1 game again, making him a priority deeper pickup. And he may be a deeper target, but he is definitely one that is worth more than a normal dart throw. We're turning our attention to the defensive backs for Week 16. Next up, for our safe choice, we have veteran Haason Smith from the Minnesota Vikings. And Smith is the epitome of a potential high-floor safety, always near the line of scrimmage making plays. In fact, he continues to deliver solid IDP production, recently totaling 6 combined tackles, 3 solo, 3 assisted, and 2 passes defended in Week 15 against the Cowboys. And as always, his floor remains one of the most solid floors in the league. Plus, he rarely doesn't come through for us somehow. Now, regarding his matchup, the Vikings get the Giants this week. The Giants are a top 12 tackle-based opponent for safeties, which is exactly where Smith excels best. This is a favorable spot for safeties. Specifically, the Giants' offense often forces defensive backs into action, leading to a high number of tackle opportunities. His reliability, plus the high-volume nature of the Giants' game, makes him a solid low-end DB1 with a strong potential upper-tier upside in this matchup. Let's look at a really deep option who is also playing a full-time role, Isaiah Pola-Mao of the Las Vegas Raiders. He's a stretch, but Pola-Mao has quietly been an IDP workhorse, playing full-time in most of his recent games. The production is there too. He has delivered pretty decent fantasy value, tallying 15 tackles in his last 2 games, which is solid output for a deep pickup. So he has delivered unexpected but strong production when we've needed a desperate play in deeper formats. But the main focus is his Week 16 matchup against the Houston Texans. The Texans are currently the 11th ranked opponent against safeties in sack-based scoring over the last month, which is a highly favorable spot. In fact, Pola-Mao has delivered strong production in similarly ranked this format recently. He totaled 5 combined tackles in Week 14 against the 11th ranked Broncos, and then had a dominant 10 combined tackles in Week 15 against the 14th ranked Eagles. Specifically, the Texans often force their opponents' defensive backs to play near the line of scrimmage, giving Pola-Mao ample tackle opportunities. So he's locked down as a solid DB2 with upside this week, making Pola-Mao a great deep pickup. Kicking off our Week 16 IDP defensive lineman waiver wire by focusing on the most explosive defensive scenario. Jaylon Walker is your Tier 2 target. Walker is a versatile hybrid who has logged solid production this season. He is a solid deep DL2 target this week based entirely on the matchup upside. To be precise, Walker exited Atlanta's Week 14 loss early due to a quad injury, but he returned in Week 15, recording a half sack and 1 assist while seeing 60% of the defensive snaps. But what makes him truly appealing is the sample we saw in Weeks 9 through 12, when he was hitting his stride and playing slightly more than Pierce, averaging about 65% of the snaps. In that stretch, Walker totaled an incredible 17 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. For the season, Walker, in 11 games played, has 32 combined tackles, 5.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles, along with 1 recovery, clearly showcasing his higher floor in tackle-based formats. The Week 16 matchup against the Arizona Cardinals is absolutely key. The Cardinals currently rank top 3 in allowing production to the edge rusher in tackle-based formats. Furthermore, they have also been a top half-ranked offense all season in sack-heavy scoring. The takeaway is simple. While Walker gives you a safer DL2 floor with his proven big play potential, this is one of the best defensive line matchups of the week. If you need it, take advantage of it quickly because Week 17 doesn't look nearly as good against the Rams.
Now, let's look at a deep sleeper veteran who could surprise, Haason Reddick. Before his recent setbacks, Haason Reddick was once known as a stable DL1 and one of the more reliable edge rushers in fantasy football. Now, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he is a true boom-or-bust deeper play who is set up for a potential bounce-back game in Week 16. For context, after recording 4 straight double-digit sack seasons, his production plummeted in 2024. The reason was simple. His 2024 season was essentially lost due to an extended contract holdout with the Jets, causing him to miss the first 7 games and leading to a lack of acclimation and only 1 sack. Moving into 2025, his campaign has still been slowed. He recently missed 4 games due to an ankle and knee injury sustained in Week 7, which is the main reason his production is still low. Despite these issues, however, he is becoming one of the anchors of the Bucs' defensive front. Specifically, he has been steadily seeing a greater snap share, moving back up to around 70% in his last 2 games. This increased workload suggests the Buccaneers are finally trusting him as a full-time pass rusher. His production is tied to his health and usage, and his matchup this week is against the Carolina Panthers, a familiar divisional opponent. Regarding the matchup, in tackle-based formats, the Panthers are ranked top 5 in allowing production to edge rushers. Conversely, in sack-heavy formats, they are only in the middle of the pack. Splitting the difference, we have about a top 12 matchup overall for Reddick, making him a deep DL2 play with a touch of upside in this divisional matchup. He remains a deep long shot, and only if the waiver wire is really low on better DL pickups, like Jaylon Walker. And don't sleep on the upside veteran. And good luck in your playoff matchups this week. Thanks for watching.
They doubted us every step of the way, but we knew what we were capable of.